Guys, you are here for another Flash Talks with Timmy. Today we are actually going to get my driver's license converted. So, in this video, I'm going to tell you what you need and what you want to do in order to convert your driver's license in Japan. So, let's go get going. So the first thing you need to find, and probably the easiest thing you can get for your driver's license conversion, is a photo booth like this one. So, it's just gonna... like that. So we're just going to hop in there and we're going to take a photo, a couple of photos, and I'll give you a bit of an idea of what the format should be like too. So let's head in and take a couple of pics. 800 yen for standard. Alright, cool, so let's head in. It's cool, and you'll have a screen like this, and a camera. Right, cool. And you must follow this format, so only shoulders in there. Only shoulders, many face, little space at the top, but hopefully it'll have a bit of guidance. The thing that's really handy is that you can choose your language. So if you are an English speaker like myself, you can choose English, select.
Thank you for using this machine.
Oh,
select the purpose of use of the photograph,
so it tells you,
and press the select button.
Tells you exactly what you need to do. So curriculum, we want driver's license. Driver's license.
These are the sizes used in applications for a driver's license and visa. Press the select button if these are the sizes you want.
Yes, please. So let's select.
Touch the print finish to display detailed information.
It's about 800 yen.
Photographs will be taken in standard mode. Press the select button if this is the mode you want.
Okay, let's select.
Select either color or black and white and press
color.
the select button. Color or black and white and press the select.
Color.
Select the number of sheets you want
Alright,
and
how many
press
sheets
the
do
select
we
button.
want? We just want one sheet for now.
Are these contents acceptable? If you wish to change the contents, press the change button on the right.
Yep, so let's double check
press
everything.
The select button if these are the contents you want.
Standard, color, one sheet. Alright, let's select.
Please insert the indicated amount.
Okay.
Press the return button to return to the original screen.
So it has
Change
to
will
be...
be returned when the final photo is printed.
Has to be exactly 800 yen. So let's go through our coins. Alright, be right back. Alright. I can't flick it. Alright, anyway, I found 1,000 yen. So you slot it in here. And 1,000 yen. Everything's electronic.
Press the select button if these are the contents you want.
Change. Oh yes. I want my change. Of course I do. Alright, just gonna prepare.
Before the photography, please read the cautions displayed on the screen.
Make sure the curtain's closed.
If you want to confirm detailed points of photography, press the hints for taking clear pictures. When you are ready, press the photo button.
Okay, did you hear that? So when you are ready, press the photo button. And then apparently you can take it multiple times as well. So this is kind of what I got. So you can select the photograph that you want. So you got first one that I took, second one that I took, third one, fourth one. I think the fourth one, the first one is actually probably the best one there. So I'm gonna go with this one. So let's select that one.
Adjust the position of your face.
And then we'll...
First, use the pink up-down buttons to align the pink line with the tip of your head.
Probably a bit
Next,
big.
use the green up-down buttons to align the green line with the tip of your chin.
Oh, okay.
Finally, use the blue left-right buttons to align the blue line with the center of your face.
You can adjust.
When you have finished adjusting...
Alright, oh. Okay, how's that looking? Maybe one down. Two down. Alright, cool. Two down. Maybe another one down. To the head. Alright, cool. That should do it. Maybe one more. Yeah, there we go. Alright, that looks pretty good. Let's proceed with that. I'm pretty good.
The photographs will be printed for that enhanced skin correction.
The focus is a bit out. It's weird. Okay, let's move on. And we're done.
Are these contents acceptable? Printing is finished. Take your photograph from the print outlet. Be sure not to leave anything behind.
So we're done taking photos. Now, on to the next bit. Alright, number 2, and these things you should actually organize before you come to Japan in your home country. So you need to have these two things First one is like an international driver's license. So this one is actually from Western Australia in Perth. And this is kind of, it's been stamped, it's got my photo in it, which I'm not going to show you for ID purposes. And it should have your address and everything written in there. And then with this, it's a lot easier to get what is then a driver's license translation into Japanese, which I'll explain a bit later. And then the other thing is you need your actual foreign driver's license. So this is kind of my Western Australia driver's license, and you need this before you come to Japan. Now, if you are coming to work for a company here in Japan, they will help you with this process a lot easier. They'll tell you what you need to bring to Japan from your home country. But to be safe, anywhere you go, even if you're traveling and stuff, always bring some form of ID, so your driver's license. And then your international driver's license, you can only apply for this in your home country. You cannot apply for this from abroad. So make sure that you organize your international driver's license within your home country. Prices vary according to different countries, depending where you live. So make sure that you organize that. Number 3, as I just mentioned, you need a Japanese translation of your driver's license. So again, if you are working for a company here in Japan, they will discuss with you when you need to convert your driver's license, set a date, do the booking for you, because the possibility is, and the potential is, that if you go to the driver's licensing center where you will be converting it, you will need a translator. If you speak fluent Japanese, you may not need it, but in this case, if you speak English, if English is your main language, number 1 language, and you're not fluent in Japanese, it is recommended you bring a Japanese translator with you. Let me say that again, bring a Japanese translator with you, because it's very important. They'll be talking about all the important things and let you know everything you need to know and about what the people are saying, what you need to bring, all the compulsory stuff, and la 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 la. So you will need a Japanese translation. Translation costs about 3,000 yen here in Japan. Do your own conversion, because I'm not doing it for you. But yeah, you will need a Japanese translation of your driver's license, so that on the day, it's kind of what they're going to need, because when they print off your license in Japanese, they're going to need it in Japanese. There's no policeman that's going to stop you over, like, oh, can you translate this to Japanese for me? That's not going to work. I'm not going to really worry about English very much, although Japanese is trying very hard to learn English. It's still a second language, and it's not a national language here in Japan, so make sure that you get your driver's license translated. One thing before I forget, going back to the international driver's license or permit, please make sure that it says you're eligible to drive in Japan, because some international driver's license permit does not allow you to drive in certain countries because it's not recognized in that country. So in your booklet or whatever, it'll tell you what countries this driver's license is recognized in, and it'll tell you what countries you can drive in with your international driver's permit. So make sure you double check. Alright guys, lastly, but most importantly, of course, is your passport and your residence card here in Japan. So Japan's slightly different in regards to landing and so on and so forth, but in your passport, you must have your visa and your landing permission stamp from immigration. So when you land at the airport, they should put a stamp in your passport with a staple or something that has something to do with your residence. And who needs a visa? They should have ticked your visa off, saying yes, you're okay to land, and a stamp that says how long you're in Japan for. And the reason for this is so that you can prove you've been in Japan for more than 3 months, longer than 3 months, when you are going for your driver's license conversion. Also, at the airport when you land, you should receive one of these, a residence card. So I can't really show you again for ID purposes, but it should have a photo on it. It should have your name, your date of birth, and your period of stay. So how long you're going to be in Japan for, and also what type of visa it is, your nationality, all written in Japanese as well, issued by the Japanese government of Japan when you land at the airport. And on the back of your card, you should have, so you've got there and a flip. On the back of your residence card, it should have your address. Now, within at least, I think, 7 days of you landing in Japan, I think it's 7 to 14 days of you landing in Japan, you must have a residence written on the back of your residence card. So your address, the address that you're staying at. Because if you get pulled over by a cop and they want to check your residence card, or they want to check your passport, check anything, check where you're staying, and you don't have that, you're going to be in trouble. So you must make sure you have a place to stay. And obviously, if you're changing residence as well, there's a whole process behind that as well. If you'd like me to make a video about that, please mention that in the comments below, because it is a very complicated process and it means that I'll be doing a lot of talking. So make sure that if you want to find out how do you change residence in Japan and go through the paperwork and not, I guess, get stuck in the whole administration side of things, make sure that you put it in the comments, and I'll try and think about, or not think about, but I'll at some point make a video about that. Alright, cool. But that's only if you leave a comment. But yeah, you need your passport and your residence card to prove that you've been in Japan for longer than 3 months. Because when you go and convert your driver's license, you need to have been in the country for longer than 3 months to have a Japanese driver's license. Also, one of the things that was mentioned to me by my company, because I came to Japan through a company, is if you do not have a stamp in your passport, and it's sometimes tricky because you have to go through automated gates sometimes at the airport, and if you're someone who went through an automated gate, you're not necessarily going to get checked by immigration or have a stamp in your passport, although you technically should really have a stamp in there. But in that case, if you don't have a stamp in your passport, or you're not able to establish when you've landed in Japan to prove that you've been here for longer than 3 months, you need to have a certificate of employment by your company that will prove that you've been here longer than 3 months, or any kind of thing that will prove that you've been in Japan for longer than 3 months. Generally, 3 safe options is your credit card, if you've spent, like, credit card bank statements, and then your rent, so payments for your rent or your mortgage or whatever residence, so you have to have proof of that, or a certificate of employment by your employer and company here in Japan. So again, if you aren't sure about how to actually do that, go find a friend who speaks Japanese, who's fluent, someone who can translate for you, as well as a person from your company who will be able to help you. There should generally at all times be someone who's an administrator at your company who's able to help you out with these sort of processes and stuff. So don't be scared to ask them. It's much safer to ask than to try and start second guessing yourself and trying to figure everything else on your own, especially when you don't know any Japanese or not even fluent in Japanese. Alright guys, so I just came out of the licensing center here in Hyojiri. So it's called the Chunanshin Unten Menkyo Center. So Menkyo meaning license, and Unten meaning driving, and Chunanshin, which is the area. It's like, yeah. If you look it up on Google Maps, you're gonna miss it every time because they spell it with a T-Y-U-U when it should be C-H-U-N. So anyway, that's Google. Don't ever trust Google to spell the English correctly. So always type the stuff in Japanese if you know the Japanese. Anyway, so I came out of the licensing center. It's taken maybe 3 hours. It was a 3-hour process because we ended up having to get a new certificate of residence for me. So we found out that you do need your residence card as well as your certificate of residence, your current address. So whatever stamp is on the back, or whatever address is on the back of your residence card here in Japan, needs to match the certificate of residence that you have. that you're going to bring to the licensing center when you're converting your driver's license. What they're also going to do is they're going to ask you a couple of questions. Stuff like, what's the process to getting a license in your country? What are the phases? How many years does it take? Do you need to sit a couple of tests? How much does it cost? Where do you need to get your license in your home country? What type of licenses are there? You need to know this stuff, and you need to research it beforehand, because I ended up being on my phone on Google looking up my where I got my driver's license in my home country, and double checking how much it costs in total, what was the total cost, what sort of tests that I had to sit. Like, I remember them, but to explain it to my translator, as well as the person behind the counter, the staff member and the staff member who's doing all the paperwork for us, I ended up having to be on my smartphone trying to figure out all these questions that he's asking me. So I'll put a list of questions that you should be able to that you should do your research beforehand when converting your driver's license in the description. So go check out those questions in the description below, and hopefully do a little bit of homework before you go and convert your driver's license, because you can't ever be too prepared. And when you're prepared, your life is going to be so much easier. You're going to save a lot of time, stress, energy, and explanation. So just have all those questions down, have the answers ready, and then when you go convert your driver's license, you can just shoot them out like you know your stuff. So anyway, that's some of the key requirements that you need for your Japanese driver's license. So number one, you need to have your photos taken, certain dimensions, 30 by 24 millimeters. They'll take for your driver's license, which they'll print off. I've eventually got mine. I finally got mine all printed off. I've got my card. It's super fancy. I love it. It's gonna make me like a professional Japanese professional Japanese driver, or driver in Japan, a qualified driver. So yeah, number one, need photos. You need photos for your driver's license. Number two, you need to have your international driver's permit, as well as your home driver's license. So your driver's license from your home country, your original driver's license. So you need your international permit, driver's permit, as well as your license. Number three, you need to have your passport with the stamp that has the day you landed in Japan, given to you by immigration or border security or whoever was at the airport. Stamp in your passport, and your visa. Visa not so much, but at least the stamp that says when you landed in Japan, because they need to know how long you've been in Japan for. And then number four, you need to have, so as well as your passport, you also need to have your residence card. And your residence card must have your current address written on the back. And then number five, you need to have your certificate of residence. So your certificate of residence must be a document that you get from City Hall. From City Hall in your city, that tells you where you currently live in your current address, and that address needs to match the address that's on the back of your residence card. Anyway, so I hope you found this useful. Converting your driver's license in Japan can be a pain in the bum if you're not prepared, and if you don't know what you're doing, and if you don't have any help. So make sure that you do get yourself a friend or a company staff, or someone from your company, or somebody who can help you with your translations, or with translations, with your paperwork, everything that you need for your driver's license to be converted. Make sure that you get their help, and make sure that you have all that paperwork pre-planned and all prepped to go, and then answer those questions that I'm going to leave in the description, just to help you prepare for answering a couple questions when you go into the driver's licensing center. Also, depending on what country you are, this is not guaranteed to work for every single person from different countries. you need to do some extra research. So make sure that you research what the requirements are for you if you're from a specific country. So if you're from Brazil or America or Russia or Canada or Australia. Luckily in Australia I didn't have to do a test, but depending on what country you come from, you may have to sit a theory or practical driving test. So make sure you do your research and you do follow up on those things, and that you are prepared. Again, as I said, you can't be too well prepared for this conversion. Alright, so that's it from me. That's another Flash Talk. I will see you guys in another video next time. Bye for now.